Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Biden, Am I Wrong? Welcome to But Am I Wrong?
First of all, Hunter Biden, I'll defend Hunter Biden right now. You can't catch me defending Joe.
No, thank you.
No. We did not do it, Joe. We did not fucking do it.
No. Anyway, welcome to But Am I Wrong? This is where y'all write in. We also share situations in our lives where we could have, would have, should have, maybe were, probably weren't wrong.
Yeah. She's not wrong in the description of our show, but am I wrong? So we have 3 different segments. We will explain each of them before we go into them. But really what you need to know is you need to prep and prime your brain for opinions, gossip, and not just our own opinions and our own gossip. You get to participate. So you get to vote on our Instagram stories after the episode is out on who you think was wrong in each situation, each segment that we talk about. And we also ask that you share your thoughts and feelings and we read them aloud on our Friday episode, which is called Fisting Friday. This is an interactive game. You know, we might say like we are never wrong, but we want to hear from all of you as well. We might be the only 2 voices on the mic right now, but that's not what Friday's a sharing experience.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How do you participate in this?
Wonderful question, Melissa. So you participate by submitting us an email or a DM. The email is butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. 300 words or less. Write down the circumstance that you want to know if you are in the wrong about it, and we will let you know. Include ages. It is all anonymous, so give some fake names. As many details as possible, or like as many details that will help us determine who we think is wrong. And you can do the exact same thing by sliding into our Instagram DMs.
And who are we? I'm Melisa Diamond Montz, a feature film producer. If you would like to know how to donate to my movie, then there's a link in the description. If you donate $50, I'll have a 30-minute call with you.
I'm going to donate $50. And you're like, I'm not fucking calling you, bitch. I talk to you all the time.
Be the easiest $50 ever.
What's up?
And this is Meghan Rinks.
Hi. If you join our Patreon, you can see me stuff tissues up my nose.
But there's also something else that you can see. Lean back.
Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen?
So cute.
Coming soon.
But you can only know if you're watching right now.
So head on over to the Patreon and you will see something magical that can be yours for a price I don't remember. On the top of my head.
A price that we debated.
Yes. I pulled out a fucking calculator. It's a big day for me.
Very big day. All right. So shall we get in?
Let's dive in. So, this segment is called But Am I Wrong? Where we pitch circumstances or things that have happened in our life recently that we want to know if we are in the wrong about, or we will also do hot takes, lukewarm takes, or just rants. I have two, but I'm going to pick one because that's what we do here. And I don't think I can't talk about male comedians anymore than I already have. So my hot take is I need more women to be comfortable fighting men in the physical sense. I don't know if you saw this TikTok going around of this girl who's telling a casual little story time while she's doing her makeup about how some guy is hitting on her and she's not interested, and she's saying she's not interested. He's not leaving her alone. And one of her friends, who she then clarifies in a follow-up video, really, we're not close. Like, we're really more acquaintances. Like, we're not friends. As if that would make this better. And it would make her look better. This man starts beating the shit out of this girl, and her and the rest of her goddamn fucking friends just sit there and watch. And they're like, how crazy. And she's like, well, what are we supposed to do? That's a man. And in the words of Bob the drag queen, 3 young girls is the equivalent strength of a man, unless he's a fucking linebacker. Like, come on. And like the whole thing that people were saying, like, okay, well, and I think this is why she made the follow up. It was like, if you wouldn't take a punch for a friend, they're not your friend. And she's like, well, yeah, she's not my friend. I'm not going to take a punch for literally, like, not every single person walking down the street, but as a society, women, we need to be far more comfortable in the circumstances of, like, when we have those numbers, fight the fuck back. Oh my God. Like, not against, like, fight for your friends. Come together. What are we gonna bolt? Are we gonna do whatever we're gonna do? But just to sit there and stand by and watch, and the defense, like, oh, just an acquaintance. Watch her get the shit beat out of her and being like, well, I don't want to get hurt, so I'm not going to do anything about it.
But you don't call for help? That's
what I'm saying. I'm like, do you think that outcome for your, like, soul and for your future, your karma, what you think that outcome of you sitting there and doing nothing is the safest bet? I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
No, that's gross, to be honest.
Embarrassing. I was like, why the fuck would you tell anyone? Like, I would feel drowned in shame. I would be my biggest regret in life. I would just be going over that in my head over and over and over again, because I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? And then just to get online and just be like, no big deal. And I'm so glad to see a lot of people. I mean, some people agree with her, but like a lot of people didn't. And I just need, like, as women, as a collective, we are so much stronger than we give ourselves credit for. And community is the most important thing. We can't expect community when it only benefits us. Sometimes community means putting, like, your fucking neck on the line. Sometimes that means putting yourself in situations where it might not go in your favor, and you might not even get it reciprocated by that person who you are sticking up for there. But, like, the girl who stuck up for her, like, that is a sense of someone who, like, that community will come back for you. But if you just sit there and expect that everyone else is going to get this shit done without you, you can't expect people to be there for you after that. Like, it's just, it makes me, like, so upset. And I hope nobody has a friend like that. And if you have a friend like that, like, if you can't confidently say, no, I know my friends would just come in fists a fucking blazing, regardless if they regardless of, like, how much damage they think he'll end up doing, then no, like, you need better people in your life.
Yeah. Agree. Oof.
Shit pissed me off.
There was another girl who I think people need to, if they're going to make a video, maybe sit on it for a week before you post it. Because I saw this other girl, which is not violent, but it was also a man disrespecting them. Was this girl was out on a date with this dude, and then his, like, he said it was his ex was, like, they lived in the same building, and she came walking in and he was like, oh, let me go introduce you to her. Like, we're cool. Like, we're still friends. Goes over, introduces her. And the other girl was like, hi, like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, okay.
Yeah.
And it pissed him off. And so then he was like, they went back to his apartment, and then he left the girl he was on a date with. He was like, I got to go talk to her and see what's up. Left her for like a couple hours. This dumb bitch stays in the apartment, and then I guess left. I don't know. And then the girl that responded to the video, the girl that he went to go see, responded to the video and was like, first of all, my name's Ashley, or whatever she had said. And then second, like, we had just broke up the night before. And she was saying this as if she, like, this is something to be proud of. She's like, yeah, we broke up the night before, but he came back with me. And, you know, after he said bye to you, he came back and stayed with me.
Big flex. Big flex.
Like, what are both of y'all doing?
We hold women to like such high standards as other women. I'm like, okay, cool. That's awesome. I love that. Then we need to be good people too. Like we can't have these like, oh my God, like, you know, yeah, the man's the one who cheats, but like the girl, like, you know, she owes me something. And I'm like, so what do you owe other women in your life? Like, come the fuck on. They can't keep it. We're going to keep letting them get away with this bullshit. It's like we're the Democratic Party right now. I'm like, come on, guys. We got to get our shit together. Though I did see the amount of people I saw stitching that initial video. I was like, I'm so glad to know that, like, there's a lot. There was one girl who was like, I mean, Bob the drag queen said, like, after this fight, this man should not be walking away with eyes. Like, thumbs in those fucking eyes. Like, come on. You don't fight fair. You fight dirty. Like, and this is already what's happening here. But just, you should watch that video, everyone, and be happy to know. Like, you should feel like, wow, I don't know any. Well, that's what I'm saying. It should be a good thing to be like, you shouldn't relate. It should be one of those things where you're like, I could never imagine being like this versus like, oh, this sounds like my friends.
Yeah. Whew. All right. Mine's a little lighter.
I love it.
So I have a rant, and it is, under no circumstances should you be asking someone's coworkers what they think about a gig that their other coworker picks up outside of work, especially if said gig is them in their drawers. So, Irish
Do you think he's hot?
No. And I watched one episode of The Bear, and I was like, I still don't get it. Also,
you get the Barry Keogh thing.
I like his eyes.
Okay.
There's something
because
about
to me
his
they're kind of
eyes.
similar, like, taste.
The other one I know. That's why I was like, for some reason I like Barry, but I don't get this one. I guess it's just not for me. Irish actress, Ayo Aderby, and Golden Globe winner for Best Actress, and an actress in a musical or comedy, which I don't know why that show was in that category either.
The Color Purple was in that category as well.
Well, because it was a musical, so that makes sense.
No, but they need to separate comedy and musical because we have no hard feelings up against.
Nor a musical. It is a drama show.
Well,
if you look it up on Hulu, it is a drama. The thing is, it's a half-hour drama, though.
Yeah, no, that's why they get. So that's what I'm saying. We need more fucking categories.
Just put it in the drama category because it is a straight. There's no joke in that show.
Well, I would assume it's as funny as Succession.
But Succession's in the drama category.
Yeah.
Where it should be. Yeah. Succession is funnier. Succession is funnier than The Bear.
Yeah, then it should be in a drama series.
Succession, I found myself laughing a few times while watching Succession. The Bear, not one joke.
Yeah, I heard it's very loud. I can't watch it.
Yeah. I wasn't watching it because it's cold. Like, it looks cold, and I don't like to watch stuff. You like to watch Lupin, and it looks cold.
Ma'am, okay, you just told me that you don't fucking watch trailers anymore. So, like, that is not, Lupin is not a cold. Do you mean like blue cold? Like Twilight cold?
It shows up when I go on Netflix, it automatically just comes on, and I'm like, move, but I see it. It looks cold.
It's Luther. That's what Luther's the cold show. Luther's the cold show about the detective.
L-U-P. I know who Idris Elba is.
No,
but
I know, but I'm saying if you're talking about the establishing
Idris,
shots.
If I see Idris, I know exactly who that is.
Okay. But I don't trust your takes on Lupin because you were like, I thought that was a detective show where he's like a cop.
I saw him wearing a little pea coat.
No, I told you, he just loves a little outfit. He loves turning out looks. I saw him in a pea coat. That doesn't, when I see a pea coat, I don't see heist. I see little British detective. And I thought it was British too, even though I know it's not British. It's kind of British vibes, so it's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, back to my thing.
Back to the Irish.
I think one of the biggest things about this award show is they disrespected her so much in different situations. Like, the Hollywood Reporter tweeted out, Taylor, like, this is when, they tweet everybody that wins in a category a little video. And the headline for it said, Taylor Swift nods in agreement during Ayo's acceptance speech, thanking all her agents and managers' assistants. Why are you focusing on Taylor Swift instead of Ayo?
A nod?
Who just won the award. Let her have her moment. But I digress. On the red carpet, numerous reporters asked her about Jeremy Allen White's Calvin Klein ad, someone from Access Hollywood held up their phone to show a picture, and she was with Quinta, and they both physically recoiled. They're like, oh. And then Io was like, I'm happy for him. That's my boy. And said, I do feel like I want people to understand that he's my coworker. And then Entertainment Tonight pulled out this large poster board that they had printed out from the ad. And this was like in front of the whole cast. And it said, and the reporter was like, did you guys get underwear or anything because of the ad? And then Io took the poster from the reporter and put it on the ground. And the reporter asked, like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm putting it away. I'm putting it away for my boy. That's my boy. That's my boy. This is a work function. You know what I mean? And then another one of the actors, Eben Moss Baccarat, said, we're not at like underwear awards. You know what I mean? We're here to talk about our show and what we do here. Why are reporters so unprofessional? Nobody wants to talk about somebody in their drawers that they work with. And if they do, call HR.
Like, it is so weird. When I saw the first time that happened, I was like, oh my God, don't. And then it kept happening. And I was like, this is a different angle from an interview. And I go, oh my God, these are different spots on the carpet. And like, I don't know who thinks that like anyone is enjoying this. Not only is she not enjoying this, he's not enjoying that. That's so fucking uncomfortable. Like, that's so fucking uncomfortable. And also, I would just ask that, like, I don't need to see it all the time either. Like, it just shows up everywhere I am, like on my Twitter, like just the video, it pops up immediately. And I'm like, that's Io's coworker. I shouldn't be seeing this. And like, I don't even know him like that. And I feel like I'm looking at my friend, my sister, fellow Irish, at her coworker in his little undies. And I go, I don't know him like that.
Right.
I just think that, like,
just be better at your jobs. Like,
well, like, let thirst traps exist in the medium where the thirst traps are. We don't need to bring, because like, if I'm at a work thing and someone's like, hey, I saw that like thirst trap you put, you're like, stop it, that's fucking embarrassing. And like, he got paid for this, and like, that's fun and it's great and it's a whole thing, but like, don't make it weird. This is like grandparents or aunts and uncles bringing up this kind of stuff. Like, I saw you posted on Instagram. That was quite a scam. Like, stop it. Let that thing be in that place where that is. Don't bring it here. It's not nominated for anything. Until you nominate it for an Emmy, keep it out.
Right. Anyway, well, that's all I have to say on that. And that's all Meghan had to say on hers. So now we're going to take a break.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
And we're back from our break. And it is time. I went through the space-time continuum. And it is time for our next segment, which is called But Are You Wrong?, where you all submit emails, DMs, things that are happening in your life or have happened in your life that you want to know if you are, would be, or was in the wrong for. I was trying to find all tenses of that. They got to be under 300 words. We ask that you include your age. It's all anonymous, so pseudonyms for anyone else involved. As many details as possible that make it so we can give you like the most accurate answer that we would. And send it to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com or our DMs. So content warning alluding to abuse in a romantic relationship. Would I, 26, she, her, be wrong if I distributed quote unquote lost keys with someone's contact info in odd locations? Example, different random cities I travel to if they are a vile human being. At 22, I dated someone who was 29 at the time, and he pulled some stuff that I'm still working through in therapy. I'm in a safer space, physically and emotionally, now 4 years later, and it would bring me great joy to know that this man is getting emails from all over the world trying to reunite him with his lost keys. Quote unquote, lost keys. My best friend is a lawyer, 32, she, her, who travels a lot. So between her and my partner, 31, he, him, we could cover a lot of ground. Would I be wrong to mark my upcoming traumaversary this way? P.S. This idea is not original. I heard it on the Petty Crimes podcast. It pains me to say, I don't think you should do this. I think there are so many other ways that are, first of all, your lawyer friend should certainly not be doing this.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. And she should be advising you, like, actually, no, you shouldn't be doing this because X, Y, and Z. As someone who, like, you know, has wanted to get revenge on people or like wanted that kind of, you want that. The reason why you want that kind of a thing is because you want the gratification, but you're never going to know. And so then you just continue to think about it and you have to fantasize like, okay, I'm just going to picture that this is what's happening to him right now, because you're never going to get the confirmation that that's what's happening. So you just have to use your imagination at that point. And so that I say, just use your imagination currently. Like, don't have to do putting the physical like time, energy, and effort into something and then having to then think about it to feel a satisfaction that something came out of it. That's putting so much legwork on you and absolutely nothing on him. And so I think like if you're going to fantasize about like him dealing with this, like fantasize about like, oh my God, I bet he got a flat tire on the way to work this week. Oh, I bet he got fucking diarrhea on an airplane. Like think about things without having to like put the time and effort and energy into them. I think feeling like you're in a safer place, it might be the reason why you want to do something, because you want to feel like you don't feel afraid as right now, and you kind of want to reclaim that power back. But I think in this case, you're giving him a lot of time, energy, and you're kind of relinquishing a lot of your power in this. So I would say no. And I think like sign him up for some fucking email lists. Like do that. Like that's like not legal either. But like if you're going to do something like that, I think you'll realize pretty quickly that you're not going to feel any sort of satisfaction from that. Like celebrate by going to one of those places where you get to like throw like glass bottles and like plates and shit, or like
a rage room.
Yeah. Or like get a new cute tattoo or go on a trip, like something like that you can like look back on as a like, wow, look how far I've come. Like, look how great this is. Like, I don't think it needs to be tied to him in that sense. And I don't think you in 5 years will still wanted to do this. And that is kind of the scale that I try to look at things on, is like, would I want to spend my time doing this a year from now? And like, usually the answer is like, no, I hope I'm over it. And I go, oh, okay. That's like, I'm reinvesting myself back into something like this that isn't necessarily good for me. So yeah, I think there are other things you could do to celebrate a traumaversary or like to mark how far you've come that he doesn't have any part of, because he didn't do any of the good work. You did all that work.
Right. And with this, it was her putting his phone number on the keys.
Yeah. He could just change his number.
He could change his number, but also your phone number, even if it's a cell phone, if people look it up and you don't know to take your information down, it's connected to a lot of things. Then you're putting him in like, I don't know who he is or what he did, but like if you did this, it would put him it could potentially put him in a terrible situation too. If somebody looked up the information, typed his phone number in and then connected it to other things, and maybe they find his house because it's connected. They were able to trace it back. They go to his house. They try to use the key to get in, might break in. Like this just like adds on to things that can potentially become a crime that you're now an accessory to.
Yeah, and it could harm other people. Like they could go to a house that's not his and then break in being like, this is like, I don't know if he's like thinking he's a shitty guy based on the digging that they do. And then or he lives with someone else and like, yeah.
So I don't think you should do this. I think this is a bad idea. I hated when I heard about this from the petty crime, wherever you got it from. I know it rolled over to TikTok and I saw it there. I hated it when I saw it there. And I was just like, people, please don't do this.
Whatever happened to good old prank phone calls? You know what I mean? Like instant gratification, that they picked up and they answered. But like anything that requires your imagination requires so much of your energy. And like you have to think about it all the time because like you don't know what's going to happen. So you have to make it up.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even say don't even sign them up for email stuff because I hate when people listen to this podcast and they put us on all these fucking lists and I spend like 20 minutes every day unsubscribing from stuff like that. Such a bitch ass move. Don't do that. Just work on yourself because if you were fully like healed from this, then you wouldn't want to do it. So I think just keep putting the work in for yourself because that is the best revenge. Is you.
And you'll never get a reaction out of him because he's not in your life anymore. And so all that kind of stuff, like you're just throwing shots in the dark and like you don't know what comes of them at all. So like you're not even gonna get that satisfaction that you want.
Yeah. All right. So next one. Hello, sexy ladies. Happy New Year. I am 19 and my boyfriend 21 is 21. We have been together and going out for just over a year. My boyfriend recently moved houses and now has one roommate who is a girl. They have a 1-year lease. He used to live with 2 other boys. They are quite friendly together, watching movies together in living room and playing cards. Am I wrong for thinking it's weird to pursue a new friendship with someone of the opposite sex while in a relationship? I just don't get what a new relationship with the opposite sex could bring to the table. I would personally feel uncomfortable hanging out with a roommate if they were a boy and I was in a relationship. Is this just me? Both me and my boyfriend have friends of the opposite sex, but these friendships have been longer than our relationship. By the way, I have some abandonment issues and am anxious and an anxious attachment style. Thank you, Father. In case that impacts your opinion, thank you for any insight you have. I think you're wrong.
With love.
A friend is a friend and they live in the same place. They're going to just naturally, unless they just don't, because with my roommates, I treated it like, a business transaction. But to them, that may not be the kind of living situation they want to be in. I don't think this is weird at all. They're friendly. They live in the same place.
They're roommates.
One person might be watching TV. The other person comes in to watch TV too because they are both paying electricity. They are both paying for that living room. Whatever. They play cards. It's an activity. They're just doing activities together because they live together. What can he get? I think it's more weird if a man does not have friends of the opposite sex, and also think it's weird if like he would just brush this off. I think you also have trust issues. That's part of this too, but it's not weird. It's not weird at all. And I know that you're 19 and maybe like you haven't had like you probably haven't had a like serious adult relationship, and that's just part of being an adult.
Yeah, I agree with you. I find it weird that like the more rational thought process that you have is that men should only be friends with women who they want to have sex with and pursue something with. Because then I would ask, like, you said that you have friends who are men, but you knew them from before. So like, what's the difference there? Like as a woman, like I would look down upon my partner if he was like, no, I only find women worth talking to and pursuing friendships with if I'm getting fucked at the end of the day. Like, why would I be friends with a woman if I can't have sex with her? Like, as a woman, I would be like, you're a misogynistic pig. Like, I think that like taking a step back from like looking at this in your relationship and then looking at like, it's not like, oh, he has a roommate who's a girl and like, I don't know why he needs to be friends with her. do you not think that men should be friends with women? They should only be friends with women they want to have sex with. Like, what? Like that, I think if you take it big picture, you'll be like, no, I actually don't think that at all. And like, I think your own, like Melissa said, I think there's probably some trust issues here and an anxious attachment style. And I'm not gonna, like, I will be honest, like, I think like this is probably a unique situation. I don't know anyone who lived opposite sex couples at 21, like roommates, just two people. But I'm saying, so like, for me, like, I could totally see at 19 being like, that's new. Like, that's something I haven't seen before. But at a certain point, if her as an entity, as like a woman, is not a threat to your relationship. Mm-hmm. She's only a threat to your relationship if she's a threat to your relationship and he lets there be a threat to your relationship. But like right now, we're just assuming this. And any time that we like assume things about other women, that is assumed about us as well. Like we become a monolith in that sense where so many of our notions and concepts and ideas of how we view other women are told to us by the patriarchy, like not our own thoughts and feelings. It is like we regurgitate those things and then they happen to us and we feel hella fucking shitty. And so I would like take a step back and you're allowed to feel like, odd choice. Like, I don't know if they were, because you're saying this is like a random roommate. They weren't friends before, whatever that is. But presumably you were dating before he signed this lease and all of that stuff. So it seems like did you have an issue back then? Or is it now just that they're hanging out and you thought that he would just ignore her? And I also would say that like, if you were her in this situation, like I think of like how I would want my partner to act with like, if he had a roommate who was a girl and like that they're playing cards, they're watching TV and like, you know, she feels comfortable around him. He feels comfortable around her. And she feels safe. Like, that's what I would want. If I found out like Mas had a girl roommate, he was like, no, I just like ignored her and didn't talk to her. And like, you know, I'd be like, that sucks for her. I would feel so fucking uncomfortable if I was her. So I think that this is an example of like him being a good guy, but not really what we expect of men. And so we assume the worst. And I think when we do that without any basis, it doesn't really, unfortunately, a lot of men need incentive to be good guys. And when we punish them for being good guys, they might not continue to be good guys.
And also, are you holding a grudge against her? Like when you go over there, does she pick up on that you don't want him to be friends with her? Why aren't you trying to be friends with her? She seems cool. She gets along with your boyfriend. She probably is cool. So she should be your friend too.
Yeah, I think if him having a roommate who is a girl is a deal breaker for you, it needed to have been a deal breaker regardless of their relationship. Like regardless of like, oh, well, you can live with her, but you just like need to ignore her. Like, I don't know. I don't know that you've expressed your needs here and that he's like not meeting them. But if those were those aren't boundaries, you can't create boundaries in other people's relationships. So I'm not saying that like shut your gut off, that if like you think something is up between the two of them, but I don't think you do because you're talking in really broad terms. So I would reel it in. And like Melissa said, like I'd befriend her. I'd be so fucking stoked. Like if I lived with a guy and I'm like, oh, okay, not my first choice. And like we're living together and I'm like, okay. And I find out he has like an awesome girlfriend. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking perfect. This is great. Like that would be such a fucking kick-ass deal that you have to live with a guy because you didn't have any other options. And then built-in girl. Amazing. Wonderful. I would be eager for that relationship.
Me too. All right. Well, that's it for the segment. Now we're going to take a break and then get into But Are They Wrong?
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Welcome back. It is time for But Are They Wrong? And when I tell you, I am giddy. to share with you what I'm about to share with you. This is a segment where we nominate like the worst of the week, something maybe we saw in the news, pop culture, anything like that, and we collectively throw tomatoes at them. This segment has brought us George Santos before he was George Santos. It's before he had that budget. It has brought us so many different things. And Melissa's usually the one who gets things from the deep depths of the internet. But today, I have ventured in. One. And I found one that when I say, like, if this was a movie, everything else would have gone blurry and the headline would have, like, popped up 3D. And it was like, angels were singing. They're like, you know what you have to do. And I know what I had to do. I had to pick it. Because this story feels like there's no other place that I would want to tell it than this podcast and no other person I want to tell it to. So, for my wrong of the week, I would like to nominate Roxanne Doucette.
Oh, this is new to me.
Bitch, I'm so fucking excited to tell you this. So Roxanne Doucette is a 64-year-old woman from Townsend who has been charged with attempted murder, accused of trying to poison her husband after a scammer impersonating soap opera star Thorsten Kaye from The Bold and the Beautiful texted her saying, "Get rid of your husband, honey." Tell me this is not...
This is Tanner's father-in-law in Bold and the Beautiful.
I would love to get a follow-up straight from the source about how he's feeling, because I will say, I did not like how they wrote this article because they kept saying Thorsten, and I go, let's clarify. A catfish using his photos. They kept saying, then Thorsten asked for this. And I'm like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. We need to get an even cameo on this one. So Roxanne Doucette was charged with attempted murder, intimidation of a witness, juror, police, or court official, resisted arrest, and assault and battery on a police officer. On December 3rd, while she was in the hospital with her father, Roxanne's daughter told police that she suspected her mother had poisoned her father. And she said Roxanne had been messaging someone who she believed to be the daytime drama actor, Thorsten Kaye. This person scammed her into giving them money. She was going through all the messages in Roxanne's phone with the scammer to send screenshots to the police, and then she found one that implied that Roxanne might have poisoned her husband. When I tell you that is the softest statement I've heard, because I go, implied, okay, we are really trying to protect our ass. When I read this to you, Melissa, the daughter showed police screenshots from the text messages that were sent on December 1st. One of the messages from Thorsten stated, "You have to get rid of your husband, honey. I need you so much." Roxanne then said, I need to do some thinking. At 2:34 p.m., she responds saying, I'm making an amazing soup. Special potion. He'll be hungry when he gets back. Just enough for him. At 4:26, she goes on to say, "Hubby got back not feeling well. Maybe I can collect life insurance." Thorsten then responds, again, we need to not just say Thorsten, this poor man. "Honey, when will that be?" She says she doesn't know. Then 5:11 on December 3rd, at approximately 5:11 p.m. on December 1st, Roxanne then called 911 for her husband. On the report saying that he was a 73-year-old unresponsive man who was still breathing with a cardiac history. She advised emergency responders that her husband was feeling very dizzy and is currently sitting in a chair, mumbling, not making any sense. The ambulance took her husband to the hospital, and when he regained consciousness, his daughter asked him about what happened on Friday, and he said that Roxanne made him a soup, but it wasn't very good. It tasted very bitter. When police spoke with Roxanne, she stated that she had told her husband that she was going on a retreat. She then came clean about the fact that she was not going on a retreat and told her husband about the person she was messaging. She said that she thought she was talking to, this is what his daughter said. It's their daughter. She said that she thought she was talking to a star and she had always wanted to meet a star. Ryan Murphy's about to steal that line for something. She then said that she was afraid to be alone and that she would never harm him in any way. She loves him very, very much. And she said that she loves her children. She hopes her daughter doesn't think that she put him into the hospital. She then also told investigators that her husband was under a lot of stress because of the scam. And she recently said that she had been victim of a scam and lost approximately $8,000. She refused to turn in her cell phone as well as her tablet to the police for the investigation. She resisted arrest and then kicked the police with her boot and kicked their feet. So there was a protection order against her. So her child and her husband stay away, no contact. And on the 12th, she violated that order. And when she wrote her husband a handwritten letter violating the no contact order. So the letter was included in the couple's bills that she had a neighbor mail to the family, allegedly stating, "Please consider the restraining order. That's a long time to have you out of my life. I want my husband back. I miss you so much." And so then we get the neighbors weighing in. And I was like, why the fuck are these neighbors weighing in? And then at the very end of the article, they said, the town's population is 9,127. I go, there we go. That's why. So Sadie Crawford, she said, yes, include my first and last name. I have comments on this. You can't ever expect that. That's something that books are made of, I think. And they she lives with her and her mother, and they're across the street. They've been waiting for answers for the month. I just asked where he was. I didn't want to pry too much. She just said that he had a heart attack. And they've reached out to Roxanne for comment. She has not reached back. I was a little curious. They didn't reach out to Townsend for comment, because I think if you're going to include his last name there, you should do that. Did this man know this story was coming out where you were going to essentially say that it was they used his name in quotes first time, none of the other times? If I was his publicist, I'd be like, let's talk about imagine me when I was like, what are you doing? I'm really afraid I was like, there's a small chance we're doing the same one.
I have not seen this on the subreddit, but I have not been on as much because I've been busy working on my film. And so I'm behind several episodes. So I don't know if anybody's posted about it.
I have to say, bad day for soap fans everywhere, because she's living out of soap.
Yeah. I mean, I could see the person that plays his son on the show, who became obsessed with a mannequin and was making out at it, and also ran somebody off the road.
Hold up. Did you say Tanner plays a son?
No, Tanner plays son-in-law.
Oh, God. I go, Tanner had to be in love with a mannequin?
Luckily, this was a COVID storyline. So luckily during this storyline, then Kayla stepped in as Kayla. The backup. Yeah.
He's just filming home movies as wife.
Yeah, I mean, I could see this just ending up on the show.
That's what I mean.
Thorsten just won the Emmy for Best Daytime Actor. Like, he's been working for years. He used to be on All My Children too. So I there's only so much I can say.
I gotta say, this made it like, never in my life have I thought about, besides like women actors, like who gets like the most creeps and who gets the worst. And I actually think it might be soap people because of the content of what they're watching.
It's the content, but also
the amount.
These people are on TV. This man is the lead of this show.
Well, for years, every single day, they're a part of your daily life. It's like YouTubers, but more.
People feel like they know them.
Yeah. And like, you know, a character of them. And so it's like a character that they also don't choose to play. And they like, versus a YouTuber, like people are attaching themselves onto what you've chosen to show them. But for this, it's like, also these storylines are not real. Oh my God, there's an episode of Friends where I think Brooke Shields plays that character who like falls in love with Joey's character from Days of Our Lives and is like convinced that he's real. And he's like, she's so hot, I don't care. And then finally he's like, nah, not hot enough. This shit is fucking weird. And that's similar.
Yep.
Also, whoever this article, I just want to give them a little bit of journalistic help. Not The Onion, but you're not allowed to look on there because that's the only place I have that I find things that you haven't seen before.
That's okay.
It's a subreddit. So this is from Boston25news.com. I love local news. I do have a note for them. I need you to be a little bit better when talking about quotes because they all have the same last name. And so they kept using the last name to be all of them. And I was like, I can figure this out because I'm, media savvy and I can, put two and two together. But it is making it quite confusing, which is why I kept referring to her as Roxanne because they called everyone to Cat.
But also they should say the catfish instead of Thorsten.
So like you said it one time, then you said that's a catch-all. We can just keep saying that Thorsten did nothing. No. Leave him out of this. That's like if someone made an article about that person who catfishes Katy Perry and they're like, then Perry said, like, Katy did no such thing.
Wow. Well, thank you for bringing that to me.
You're welcome. I'm so glad. I've been so excited ever since I saw it.
All right, here's mine. And I'm going to give it to the people that got married at the Mansion Society. There's this small coffee venue.
I know this.
Yes. And so these people just kind of showed up and had a ceremony at the coffee store. It's a cafe. So a couple rushed into this store and held a wedding ceremony without obtaining management's permission for the event. Anna Lozamo, who's one of the co-owners of the venue, it's not even a venue, of the little coffee cafe, was interviewed, and she said the bride walked in wearing a full gown with a veil and went directly to get married. The rest of the cafe staff was very confused and shocked and they didn't know like what to do or how to respond. I'm reading between the lines here. And what I think happened, because the couple is Black, they didn't want to be Karens and tell them to stop.
I didn't know that part.
They didn't want to come off as
I was like,
Karen.
damn, these people are moving fucking fast.
Yeah. So Anna said that she first heard about the bride and groom weeks before, on December 5th. The leasing manager for the wedding venue, which is next door, and the coffee shop had reached out to her about someone wanting to make a reservation at the coffee place for 6 people just to sign the wedding documents. But she was shocked when a group turned up and there were about 20 people there, plus the bride and groom. The wedding only lasted like 10 to 15 minutes, but the group of people stayed at least an hour and a half. And during this time, when customers were trying to get in, they like came and then left because it looked like it was overcrowded. After the ceremony, Anna said that some of the guests were treating the place like it was their own, and they left their personal items around the store and blocked the counter for people to order. The wedding photographer asked an employee for 5 more minutes after being told they needed to leave. The group in total ordered 5 or 6 lattes, and the store lost money during this time. So Anna, somebody from the store had posted on Instagram telling the whole story, and then the bride reached out and responded and said in an understanding manner that she wasn't expecting that many people to show up as guests invited, and the guests invited other people, and then offered to make a $200 donation. Then Anna said for the day that she took it over, not counting that it was a holiday, our regular standard rate on a Sunday for 3 hours is $500. And then there's a $250 minimum for food and 20% gratuity, which is a steal when it comes to wedding. Added to the food and drink total. And then the bride responded and said that was unreasonable. Even if it was only supposed to be a small amount of people, this is a coffee shop, ma'am. This is a Wendy's. Like, you can't just show up somewhere and have a pop-up wedding, regardless of how many people come, when it is a venue that does rent out their space. There's also a actual wedding venue next door. And so when the owners saw people coming in, they thought maybe they were just coming to get coffee before they went to the actual venue. So that's why they didn't stop them right away. Like, what are y'all doing? This is embarrassing. There's like professional photos of them posted up in this coffee shop.
Doesn't look good.
No.
That's the thing that I'm like, okay, first of all, I aspire to have that boldness. Like, just to be like, wow, like to have so much just conviction. And for what? And for why? Because I'm like, this is like getting married at IHOP. Like, that's not cute. Like, as a guest, I would be like, they didn't even clean these tables because I'm not supposed to be.
We're going to go to Intelligentsia for your wedding. Just show up.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, we go to Blue Bottle. And I'm just like, and me, like, we're in the corner just like talking about, like, Kyle's like, so this guy was telling me about how he got fisted. And I'm like, you're having coffee shop conversations here. Someone's like blowing up the bathroom, shitting their fucking brains out. Like,
someone's in the corner on their laptop.
That's what I mean. Someone's watching porn. Like, this is not love is in the air kind of a vibe. Like, people are there for Wi-Fi. Someone is studying for their finals. And like, you're getting, like, I'm just saying, like, yes, that sucks for all the other patrons. But I go, oh my God, I need you to, as someone who doesn't even like want to have a wedding, I need you to care a little bit more about your special day than have it be this.
If you wanted to just have a quick wedding where you show up, the courthouse is right there.
A park.
Yeah, because they had an officiant.
Grass.
They could have gone anywhere.
I know that lighting. I know that overhead lighting was fucking ugly. Like, come on. And like, who is the photographer? Because they have to be related. There is no way that that was like someone you hired for X amount of money to do that. Because if you're not paying the venue, you're not paying the photographer, and the photographer wouldn't have the audacity to tell the venue, who they know the bride and groom aren't paying for, hey, can I have 5 more minutes? And they're like, I'm sorry, did you say cappuccino? Like, and imagine like them yelling out orders. Like, frappe for Veronica. And it's like,
well, no one else could come in. So that was part of the problem.
But also, like, coffee machines are loud. Like, what is going? I also want to know. I haven't seen all the. I don't know what the dress looks like, because like, do you go into like a wedding dress shop and they're like, what's the style? They go, think like gorilla style coffee shop wedding, and they're like,
no,
what?
It's like
they're like,
a
beach?
A wedding dress.
Like a gown?
Yeah.
Like if I was a guest, I would have accidentally gone across the street. Oh my God. How long is this veil? That will tell me everything. Is this a cathedral style? Like, how long is the veil? I'm sorry. This is, I've said the wedding industry is a scam. I don't want us to go this far because you're not fucking over people who are profiting from like the absolute thing of the wedding industry. Because also the wedding industry is an opt-in kind of thing. You don't have to do it. And these people aren't like, you're not fucking over people. Like you're just letting them. No, you're using
you're fucking over a small business.
Yeah. And they have nothing to do with like the cost of weddings being astronomical and all of that kind of like, this isn't like, these are just a work.
Like they offer, you can, if you wanted to get married here, they have very reasonable prices.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people are maybe necessarily taking them up on it because like it's an alternative place to get married. And most people want to go to a place that does a lot of weddings, that's their bread and butter and all of this. And I'm like, so you don't want to do that. You want to go to a place that does offer it and then you don't want to pay them to do it. You like, I actually want to see you on your off day.
Also, it used to be an asylum. And that's now the story for your wedding.
The name's a little bit okay. Did they keep the name? Because the name doesn't make any sense for a coffee shop to me.
I don't know what the name means.
Mansion Society? Society. What state is it in?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Is that in the South?
No, Midwest.
Because there are certain places like Salem. If you say society, I go witches. Other states, you say society, it's cult, it's fundamentalist religious thing, or it's the KKK. On New Year's Eve.
Right.
I can't believe that many guests were free. She was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know we were going to be so popular.
I've gone to weddings but it's also during the day. Like,
I also think a New Year's Eve wedding is I think if someone did a wedding on Halloween or New Year's Eve, I think it's a genius time because everyone wants to have plans and they want to go to a party, but like, their tickets are expensive as a head and like that's like it's just hard. I think those are the perfect times to have a wedding. I'm not going to knock a daytime wedding. I will knock a wedding where if I walked in to a coffee shop and they were having a wedding, I would be like,
it's not a big space either.
That's what I'm like. It couldn't even have been enjoyable for them. So I'm like, you didn't even get away with it where you're like, oh my God, we scammed and I had the best day of my, I'm like, there's no fucking way that this was what you like, that this is your ideal. This is your dream. Like you clearly have a lot of determination, a lot of tenacity and a lot of fucking like gall and balls on you. So use that to get something. Let's have higher expectations and standards, not just showing up to a coffee shop. Like use that. Those kinds of people who walk into a room and you don't question it. Like, ma'am, you could probably go to the Grammys. You could walk. If you've got one of those faces that you're like, I belong here, you could go wherever you want to go. Do you ever see that there's a story about that old woman who kept getting on flights for free and she was like traveling across the whole world and everybody was like, she's not paying for flights, but like everybody was like, she looks like she knows what she's doing and like is supposed to be here. So they just kept letting her on the plane without like an ID or a passport or whatever. Like, ma'am, I think you might be able to do that. How about not this?
Right.
This makes a lot more sense because it said the social media backlash could have been cancel worthy if spun the right way. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Now you got it.
Well, yeah. At first I was like, the way they were phrasing it, I was like, I don't really think I'm on your side. Like, what are we fucking talking about? They were very vague and you're right. They didn't say include the names, but I didn't even follow up with this. I think I just assumed it was like a viral post that didn't have any like legitimacy to it because they didn't name anyone. It was very vague. I didn't know that this was the follow-up. Oh, and there's a GoFundMe page has been launched for the small business to help recoup the costs.
This is one of the ones where Black TikTok was like, can't save you. Like, if you're in the area, go to the coffee shop.
They're like, and not this one. It's GoFundMe.com/F wedding couple steals business. You should be able to find it pretty easy.
All right. So listen tomorrow to Fisting Friday, where we give the results of the last new episode that we had. Was it the holiday movie?
I don't know.
No, I don't remember.
I have no idea.
So we'll see. And then listen on Monday for a brand new Don't Blame Me. Tuesdays, we have See You Next Tuesday. And then we're right back here on Thursdays for But Am I Wrong? Please leave us. We haven't asked for this in a while. Go rate and review us.
Please do.
All right. Well, we'll circle back.
Goodbye.
Bye.
But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melisa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey, guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth. Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors, including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melisa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
In Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.